The province always felt like a different world, a place where time slowed down and the old stories felt disturbingly real. My Lola, my grandmother, lived in a small Nepa hut, surrounded by towering coconut trees and the constant hum of insects. I was visiting her for the summer, a city kid trying to reconnect with his roots. She'd always warned me, Apo grandson, be home before the sun sets. The night here belongs to creatures you don't want to meet. I always laughed it off. To me, they were just stories, thrilling tales to tell my friends back in Manila. That wasn't till one moonless night. It started with a sound, a strange, rhythmic flapping, like giant leather wings beating against the humid air. It was too slow for a bat, too heavy for a bird. I peered out the window, my heart starting to pound a nervous rhythm against my ribs. The sound grew closer, circling the house. Then, I heard Lola whisper a prayer in the next room, her voice trembling. That's when the fear, cold and sharp, truly sunk in. Her stories weren't just stories. I remembered what she told me about the Manananggal, a creature that looks like a beautiful woman by day, but at night, her upper torso detaches, sprouts enormous wings, and flies off in search of prey, leaving her lower half behind. They were said to crave the hearts of unborn babies, using their long, thin tongues to reach into the wombs of pregnant women. The thought made my stomach churn. The flapping sound stopped directly overhead. A shadow fell over our small hut, so large it blotted out the few stars visible. A soft, scraping sound started on the thatched roof. It sounded like something was trying to claw its way in. Lola's prayers grew louder, more frantic. I was frozen, every muscle in my body screaming to run, but there was nowhere to go. Then, a new sound began, a faint, sickeningly wet slithering. It was coming from the ceiling. I looked up, my eyes wide with terror. A thin, dark line was slowly descending from a small gap in the bamboo slats. It was a tongue, impossibly long and prehensile, probing the air like a snake. It moved with a grotesque intelligence, searching. My cousin, who lived nearby, was pregnant. Was it looking for her? But she was in the next village. Then who? My blood ran cold. Lola wasn't just praying. She was clutching her stomach. I hadn't known. No one had told me. She was with child, even at her age. The creature knew. Daru, the tongue darted towards her room, smelling its prey. I had to do something. I couldn't just stand here. Lola's stories weren't just warnings. They were also instructions. Salt, garlic, and a sharp bolo, she had said. They hate the sting of salt, the smell of garlic. And if you find its other half, sprinkle salt and ash on the open flesh. It won't be able to rejoin, and it will die when the sun rises. I scrambled to the kitchen, my hands shaking so badly I could barely hold anything. I grabbed the entire jar of rock salt and a string of garlic. The slithering from the ceiling was getting more desperate, the tongue now tapping against the wooden wall of Lola's room. I ran back and threw handfuls of salt at it. It recoiled with a hiss that sounded like steam escaping a hot pipe, retreating back through the roof. But I knew it wasn't over. It would be back. The only way to stop it for good was to find its other half. I grabbed the bolo from beside the door, its weight feeling both terrifying and reassuring in my hand. Taking a deep breath, I slipped out of the hut and into the oppressive darkness. The flapping sound started again, but this time it was moving away, probably circling to find another way in. I had to be fast. The night was a maze of shadows. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig sent a jolt of panic through me. Where would it leave its legs? Lola had said it was always somewhere hidden, somewhere secluded. A grove of banana trees, a dense thicket of bamboo. I ran towards the large banana plantation at the edge of the property, my heart hammering against my chest. The plantation was an eerie place, the large leaves creating a canopy that blocked out what little light there was. It smelled of damp earth and rotting fruit. I moved deeper in, my eyes scanning the darkness. The bolo held tightly in front of me. Then primero sa doble italiano. Leaning against the thick trunk of an old banana tree, almost perfectly hidden in the shadows, were the lower half of a woman's body. It was just standing there, motionless. It was the most horrifying thing I had ever seen. I could hear the flapping sound returning, getting closer. It knew what I was about to do. I fumbled with a jar of salt, my fingers clumsy with fear. Primera poured salt ash and crushed garlic all over the raw, severed waist. Just as I finished, a blood-curdling shriek tore through the night. It came from above, filled with rage and agony. The creature appeared above the treetops, a horrifying silhouette against the dark sky. It was a woman's torso, her hair flying wildly, giant bat-like wings beating furiously. Her face was contorted in a mask of pure hatred, her eyes glowing with a faint red light. She dove straight for me. I didn't think. I just ran. I zigzagged through the banana trees, the sound of her wings and her enraged screams right behind me. I could feel the wind from her wings whipping my hair. I burst out of the plantation and sprinted back towards the hut, not daring to look back. I slammed the door shut, barring it, my body collapsing against the wood. The creature circled the hut, screeching and clawing at the roof and walls, but it couldn't get in. Its cries grew weaker, more desperate as the night wore on. I stayed huddled on the floor, listening, until the first hint of dawn began to lighten the eastern sky. As the sun's rays touched the horizon, there was one final, agonizing scream that seemed to dissolve into the morning air. And then, silence. When the sun was fully up, I cautiously went outside. There was nothing, no sign of the creature. I went back to the banana plantation, and the lower half was gone too. It was as if the entire nightmare had never happened. When I went back inside, Lola was in the kitchen, calmly cooking breakfast. She looked at me, her eyes holding a deep, ancient knowledge. She didn't say a word about what happened, and neither did I. We didn't have to. I finished my breakfast, packed my bags, and took the first bus back to the city that morning. I never spent another night in the province again. Some stories, you learn, are not just stories, and some nights are best left to the creatures that own them. Thanks for listening. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tales from the shadows. Stay safe out there.